Kern Government Television. Welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting. Originating from the County Administrative Center, located at 1115 Truxton Avenue in Bakersfield, California. Grounded in ideas, energy, and innovation, Kern County's vision is to be a driving force for the world's fifth largest economy. And our mission is to exceed expectations of the communities we serve, changing the way they feel about government, those who manage it, and the services it provides. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
So let me call to order the Monday, August 5th, 2 p.m. special meeting of the Kern County Board of Supervisors. First item is roll call.
Supervisor Peters.
Here.
Supervisor Flores.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez.
Here.
Next item, while it's not there, I'm going to use the chair's prerogative and say we're going to have a flag salute anyway. And Ms. Kerrigan, since you're at the microphone, why don't you lead us in the flag salute? Thank you. And
Everybody please stand. Oh.
Please remain standing at the conclusion of that for a moment of prayer, silence, or meditation, whichever you prefer. Thank you.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, we just have two items on the agenda today, items 1 and 2, but we're going to go with take item 2 first, which is under Public Health Services. It is a proposed resolution ratifying the proclamation of a local health emergency declared by the Kern County Health Officer due to potentially hazardous conditions and a threat to public health as a result of the Burrell Fire in Kern County. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the board. My name is Bryn Kerrigan, your director for Kern County Public Health. The item before your board this afternoon is a request to ratify the local public health emergency proclaimed due to the potentially hazardous conditions and threat to public health as a result of the Burrell Fire. As your board is aware, on July 24th, 2024, the Burrell Fire started due to a fatal car accident along Highway 178 in the Canyon. As of this morning, the Burrell Fire has burned over 59,340 acres and is 68% contained. There has been significant loss of residential structures in multiple affected communities, resulting in structure ash and debris that may be or may become hazardous waste and a threat to public health. assistance is needed for private property owners and the county for timely implementation of necessary preventative measures to protect public health and the environment. It is for these reasons that on Friday, August 2nd, 2024, the Kern County Health Officer, Dr. Christopher Lyon, proclaimed a local health emergency in accordance with Section 101080 of California Health and Safety Code. A health officer's proclamation of a local health emergency may not remain in effect for a period of greater than 7 days without being ratified by your board. Therefore, it is recommended that your board adopt the proposed resolution ratifying the proclamation of the local health emergency issued by the Kern County Health Officer on August 2nd, 2024, due to the potentially hazardous conditions and threat to public health caused by the Burrell Fire. Mr. Chairman and members of the board, that concludes my remarks, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Let's open it up. Is there anyone here who would like to make a comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the board for a motion. Supervisor Peters.
Chairman, I'd like to just say thank you for bringing this forward. I know this is extremely important for residents up there, but I also want to just use an opportunity to remind residents that on Saturday, August 10th, we're going to be opening the local assistance center at the Lake Isabella Senior Center, where they can come and learn about what opportunities are available to help them. And if there's anything that they need or are trying to find out about the fire before then, they can call the call center at 661-873-2660. So I just want to put those reminders out there as well. And I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. I'll go back to the first item, which is a proposed resolution requesting the Auditor, Controller, County Clerk to take all necessary steps to hold an election on November 5th, 2024, in accordance with Government Code Section 25061 to fill the vacancy of 2nd District Supervisor Zach Scrivener's unexpired term. Ms. Rezon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. This matter before you today concerns Supervisorial District 2 and the recently created vacancy. As you know, Zach Scrivener submitted his resignation as Supervisor of District 2 on the evening of August 1st, and his letter of resignation indicated his resignation would take effect on August 2nd. At this time, the District 2 Supervisor's position is vacant. Vacancies on county boards of supervisors are governed by the California Government Code and specifically for purposes of today's agenda item, Section 25060 and 25061. Section 25060 states, whenever a vacancy occurs in a board of supervisors, the governor shall fill the vacancy. The appointee shall hold office until the election and qualification of his successor. And Section 25601 states, the election of a supervisor to fill the vacancy for the unexpired term shall be held at the next general election unless the term expires on the first Monday after January 1st succeeding the election. That last clause in Section 25601 is not relevant here because this is not the last year of District 2's current term. The next general election, as referenced to in Section 25601, is scheduled for November 5th, 2024. It is possible to have names placed on the November 5th ballot for the District 2 vacant seat, but there is a very tight window to do so. In fact, the deadline is this Friday, August 9th. In order for the county clerk, register of voters, to open the nominating period for the District 2 seat, your board must request her to do so. I have spoken with Ms. Espinoza, and she is prepared and awaiting for your board to take action. Therefore, it is recommended your board approve and adopt the resolution requesting the Auditor, Controller, County Clerk to take all necessary steps to hold an election on November 5th, 2024, in accordance with Government Code Section 25601 to fill the unexpired term of the 2nd District Supervisor seat. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions.
Okay, before I go to the open it up, is there any questions from the board? Okay.
Well, I punched in, Couch.
Well, does that mean you have a question, or you just like to go right ahead?
That's why you punch in. Thank you, Chairman. What is the vote threshold requirement from this board?
For this board, it would be a majority.
Majority, simple majority.
Correct.
Okay, and what about a governor's appointment to fill whatever remaining time is on the vacancy? Is that possible still?
According to section 25060, yes, as long as there's a vacancy. It says whenever a vacancy occurs in a board of supervisors, the governor shall fill the vacancy.
And shall, so he has to.
I can't speak to that. The research that I have done in other counties that have had a vacancy, there are times when either the next election is quite close, or for reasons that I'm not privy to, an appointment has not been made.
Okay, so either way could happen.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Supervisor Flores, I'm now paying attention to this thing, and I can see you. Okay.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Raison, you mentioned if the board moves forward with this election option to let the local voters decide of District 2, that if elected, they fulfill the remaining term, you said?
That's correct. If somebody was elected in the November 5th, 2024, they would fill out the remainder of the term, which it runs through all of 2026.
So for 2 years, okay.
Yeah.
Now, if we proceed with that option and there is an election and the governor does appoint, does that appointment take the remainder of the term, or does that appointment of the governor only go until the end of the year? And then the election would then bring in the new person?
That's correct. The second sentence of Government Code 25060 states, the appointee, which would be appointed by the governor, the appointee shall hold office until the election and qualification of his or her successor.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anyone here that would like to speak to this item? If you would like to, please come down to the front row so we can get you up to the microphone quickly. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. My name is Peter Graff, a potential candidate for the 2nd District seat. First off, I'd like to thank you for addressing the Burrell fire, the victims and the families up there. That's great. Let's give them all the help they need. Second, thank you for your time on this special meeting, for addressing the issue with the vacant seat. I think it's important that we address the fact that the people should have a vote and say in this. Regardless if there's an appointment by Governor Newsom, we should have the opportunity ourselves to vote whoever we need inside there. So I want to thank you for that, and thank you for your time. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Grant. Who'll be next?
Good afternoon, Board. This is extemporaneous, and I apologize for my casual appearance. Jim Robinson, R-O-B-I-N-S-O-N. I do have a question for Ms. Raison with regards to the appointment under Section 25060. In the counties that you studied, were those charter counties or were they common law counties? Do you recall?
Could you, this is a little
Rather.
detail, but
Okay.
ask us and we'll ask her.
Sure, yeah. I was just wondering if that, if Section 25060, if all of that applies to charter counties and to common law counties.
I believe it's common law or general law, but I'll get her to.
General
Wait.
law, my apologies.
Supervisor Couch, I believe you are correct. There's so few charter counties, and the information that I have found, charter counties tend to have a process that makes it a little bit different. So I spent more time looking at general law counties because those are the counties that would apply to how things would play out here in Kern County.
I'd like to make a request of this board to possibly, if you could, investigate exactly what the differences are between how or if the governor would appoint a successor from Sacramento as opposed to this board right here being allowed to go on ahead and appoint the person to fill the seat until the election on November 5th.
No, our board wouldn't do an appointment. Our board would only possibly have the election, have the voters of the district choose or the governor choose, but our board wouldn't choose.
Mr. Robinson, are you saying that you'd like the board to investigate if we were to become a charter county, what kind of options could we have in the event of the exact situation we have right now, or
You
something
said it
similar
much
to
better than I did, Chairman.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'd like to find out if we could.
Okay,
So, thank you very much.
good question. Good question. Thank you.
Hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Sky Dent. I've only been in Bakersfield since 2017, but I think I have a lot of the qualifications. I'm unemployed, but I was a journalist for 15 years, and I covered boards like you guys for 50, so I think I can be good at answering all the questions the
Can you
public will have
give
of
us your
me.
name again?
Sky, S-K-Y-E, last name Dent, D-E-N-T.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Dale Cisneros, Cisneros, and I am here to address the board about item 2 on the agenda. And I thank you, Chairman Couch and board members, for moving so quickly on this right after the resignation. And I just wanted to give my my thanks as a potential candidate for the 2nd district seat. So.
By the way, I can't speak to you just after the meeting, but we will get in touch. And I was a little bit later today than I thought I was going to be, which is why we didn't speak.
No worries. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Vince Mayocco, last name spelled M-A-I-O-C-C-O. So if in fact, my question would be, is if we decide that we're going to have an election in November, what's the latest that the election office will allow people to become an official candidate? Obviously, the deadline is this Friday. That's not a lot of time. So are we looking at maybe extending it by another week, another 2 weeks, another month? And I'm sure you don't have the answer to that,
No,
but obviously our county clerk,
I think we do have the answer to that.
you do have an answer.
The answer is Friday is the deadline, and it's not an arbitrary choice on our part. I'm going to correct me where I'm wrong about this.
Can I add to this as well too, Chairman Couch? I know that one of the wards in the Bakersfield City had got an extension to, I believe, August 14th. Why couldn't this position be extended to match that August 14th ward?
Have an answer for that one too.
Okay.
Okay. The reason that one's being extended, I believe, is because the incumbent is not running. And when that occurs, they allow a 5-day, including the weekend, so 3 business days, basically, extension for people to file.
Okay.
This is not that case. This is not the normal cycle for a reelection. There's no incumbent that's not running. We just have a vacancy.
Right.
And you back up, Margo, correct me if I'm right on this, you back up 88 days from the election date, and that's the deadline, state law, right? And that's August 9th, this Friday.
Okay.
You're correct.
So, and we don't have the authority to say we want to make it August 15th or whatever. It is what it is.
Is that something, I'm guessing the answer would be no, but I'll go ahead and ask the question anyway. Is that something our county clerk and auditor could do? Extend it?
The state law says it's 88 days backed up from the election, and there's nothing in the law that says there's
Right.
any extensions available to anybody.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Okay. Other questions or comments? Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, board members, council, and staff. Today, my name is Josh Taylor. I'm representing the Carpenters Union and speaking on behalf of myself and the other blue-collar workers of District 2. And today I am speaking in opposition to the County Council's departmental request to fill the vacancy of the 2nd District Supervisor's unexpired term on November 5th. The reasoning is simple and essential to presenting fair and equitable election processes to candidates interested in running for the vacant seat. If the board were to approve this request as written, then there would only be the remaining days of the week available to pull papers, garner signatures, provide the fee, and submit completed paperwork. And to do so would create an inequitable circumstance for residents interested in running for that position, and here are a few examples why. Local residents who have full-time 9-to-5 jobs may not have ample time this week to accomplish these requirements in an extremely expedited time frame, which is inconsistent with other similar elected position filing periods. I've got some folks behind me representing themselves from labor. This room would be a lot fuller if this were not during that 9 to 5 hours, thus reinforcing my point there. Secondly, independently wealthy folks interested in running this may have $1,100+ in their back pocket on a moment's notice, but less than wealthy people may not have immediate access to such funds in such a short period of time. Thirdly, as a constituent of the ward myself, and for those of us in that ward, we should not be subject to a scenario where a person who's being accused of such heinous allegations to essentially set the tone of an election period by making an untimely resignation that puts a stranglehold on the filing period should the county attempt to hold the D2 seat election on November 5th. Now, I understand that special elections cost money and that your board is doing your very best to be fiscally responsible wherever possible. However, spending some money to ensure an election process is fair and equitable is a necessary investment when regularly scheduled elections and vacancies do not reasonably align. And so for these reasons, I implore your board to deny the request of county council as written and instead direct staff to hold a special election at a later time that allows for an equitable filing period if possible. Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Can I ask a question? Certainly.
Does the process allow you to have, Paul Linfesti, District 3. Does the process allow a special election to be held down the line, or can it only be done in the next general election? I was a little confused about if that was an if or.
Good question. Then this is an answer that I'm going to allow Ms. Raison to answer because it gets complicated.
Chairman Couch, it is the next general election, and for these purposes, general election has a specific meaning. It is this November, and it could be in 2025. I believe the election would be March or maybe June. It's that whole complicated scheme of like the second Tuesday after the first Monday in March in 2025. Or November.
That's only if there's a statewide election.
Or November of 25. But there has to be a scheduled statewide election. And the last time I checked the State Secretary of State's webpage, which was late last week, there still is nothing scheduled for 2025. That's not to say that there won't be, but as of right now, there's not. And if there's nothing scheduled in 2025, then in 2026, the dates of the general election, this seat could be on the ballot because it is the last year of the current term of District 2 would become the normal primary date for the elections in 2026 and then the November general election of 2026. So there's not a specially called election. It's kind of a special election because it's out of cycle for District 2's normal election dates, but that election occurs at a statewide general election.
Is it safe to say that the next general election is either this November or in the general, if nothing unusual occurs, let's just say, call it that, it's March and November of 2026. And if by chance there's a statewide election, which who knows, I don't even know what that would be for, then it could be two separate times in 2025.
That's correct.
Okay. Give as an example, what would be an example of a statewide election, a special statewide election? A tax measure, the filling of a state office?
It could be something like that. Yeah, if a state office maybe became empty.
Okay. So if you had another resignation or a death or whatever.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
But typically, in a normal year, nothing like that happens. You wouldn't have any of those. Correct?
Typically.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from anyone? Okay. Return to the board. Supervisor Peters.
Thank you, Chairman. I would just like to say that to Mr. Taylor, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you on some points, and I think that it's particularly egregious myself that this didn't happen sooner and didn't leave District 2 with more time to go through this process in a more robust way. But that being said, I think 2 years is a long time to leave District 2 residents without leadership that they've been able to vote on. So for that reason, I'm going to move staff's approval.
you, and I'll make a motion too. I think it's fundamentally important in terms of representation and democracy that we allow the citizens of District 2 to have a say in the matter, irrespective of the timeframe that we've been presented with. That district deserves to choose their next supervisor. So I'll second the motion.
Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved, all ayes.
Josh, I'm reminded of the movie Argo. Have you seen it? When he's pitching his idea and they look at him like he's crazy and he says, yes, sir, this is the best bad idea we have. Okay, that's what we're sitting with. Those are the two items we had on the agenda today, so I need a motion to adjourn to tomorrow at 9 a.m., August 6th.
So moved.
Without objection, we're adjourned. Thank you.